Hi, good morning, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my Christmas haul as well as the books that were gifted to me on my birthday in November as well. So I'm going to start out with the one that is definitely my favorite of the whole haul, and it's one of my favorite books I've ever been given. This one was given to me by my mother and father. This is a mini Frankenstein. So it is just absolutely stunning, and it is the whole book. Like, it is the entire book in this little tiny teeny thing, and it's just absolutely amazing. So this little book is bringing me so much joy because I do collect different editions of Frankenstein, and this is definitely one I never would have found anywhere else. So I am so thrilled. And if you see me yawning throughout this video, we are moving. So we've been packing up our house. We have a lot of stuff going on and I am exhausted, but I'm trying to film these videos so that you have content for January. So let's move on to the other things that my parents got me. These three books I did ask for, so I already knew that they were coming. This is The Weight of the Stars by Kate Ancrum, and this is following two young women who live in a trailer park. One is obsessed with space, and the other one has a mother who is on a one-way mission to Mars. So she has to climb up on top of the roof to hear the transmissions from her mom through space. So I think it just sounds really great. So this has queer elements and female-female romance, and it's by a Black author, and also this is in my top 21 books I must read in 2021, so I will definitely be getting to this soon. I also asked for The Discomfort of Evening by Marieke Rijneveld, who is a writer from the Netherlands. So this is following a young girl who just really wants her brother to go away. So she's like, oh, I wish he would just go away. I wish he would just go away. And then one day tragedy strikes and she thinks that her thoughts have direct consequences on this very cold remote farm that they live on. It did win the International Booker Prize for 2020, but a lot of booktubers that I follow didn't like this book. They said it was too dark. So as soon as they said too dark, like my little ears popped up and I was like, that sounds like the book for me. And the last one my parents got for me is African Psycho by Alain, who is a writer from Congo. So this is following a man who wants to become an esteemed serial killer. So I have already read this and I talked about it during the Bias Breaker live show. It is also in my December wrap up, so I'm not spoiling anything when I say I really hated this and it was 2 stars and I wish I hadn't asked for it for my birthday, but there's no way of telling, and I wanted to ask for books that I can't easily find in Australia. So Mom and Dad, if you're watching, thank you so much for my birthday gifts and then my Christmas gift. It was just great. Thank you so much. Now I just have one book that was kind of a dual Christmas gift. My husband and I decided to buy a very expensive cookbook that we saw in a store. This is Vegan JapanEasy. This is a Japanese vegan cookbook. So we do cook a lot, and one of the things that we run into is that in Korean cooking and also Japanese cooking, there is a lot of fish oil or fish broth in everything. So to make something truly vegan is very difficult. So we saw this book and we were like, oh, okay, tell us more. It has gorgeous front papers, purple sprayed edges, but I mean, the true point of it is that it has amazing recipes. So like, for instance, this is sweet miso roasted beetroot. That sounds amazing. So the next books I'm going to talk about are ones given to me for my birthday from my very, very lovely Aunt Pat and Uncle Hank. First up is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erika Sanchez. This is following Julia, who is not your perfect Mexican daughter. She has plans to leave her parents' house after graduation and go to college, and perfect Mexican daughters don't do that. They never leave their family. However, when her sister Olga, who was the perfect daughter, dies, she is left picking up the pieces and trying to discover what happened. I think it sounds absolutely excellent, and I cannot wait to buddy read this with my aunt. Another one that I am super excited for is The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Michele Richards. Inspired by the true blue-skinned people of Kentucky and the brave and dedicated Kentucky Pack Horse Library Service of the 1930s, this is a book of raw courage, fierce strength, and woman's belief that books can carry us anywhere. Sounds very interesting. I cannot wait to read this one. I heard Russell at Ink and Paper blog talk about this book and he really enjoyed it, so I'm hoping that I do too. Next up is a book that is on my January TBR because it is ocean themed, very cold ocean themed. This is My Last Continent by Midge Raymond. This is about two scientists who are in the Arctic to study penguins, and every season they meet on this ship and they have kind of this on-again, off-again romance. Very intriguing, very cold, and very merry January themed. So I'm hoping to convince my aunt to read this one for January. Next up is Daughter of a Queen by Sarah Bird. So it says, though born into bondage on a miserable tobacco farm in Missouri, Kathy Williams was never allowed to consider herself a slave. According to her mother, she was a captive, destined by her noble warrior blood to escape the enemy. Her chance at freedom presents itself with the arrival of Union General Philip Henry Smash-em-up Sheridan, the outcast of West Point who takes the raw-boned, prideful young woman into service. At war's end, having tasted freedom, Kathy refuses to return to solitude and makes the monumental decision to disguise herself as a man and join the Army's legendary Buffalo Soldiers. So, this is based on a true story that the author stumbled upon when she was researching African American rodeos. So the author is white. For the last few years, I've tried to read about the Black experience from Black authors, and something that I found is quite common in more popular books, such as like The Invention of Wings by Sue Monk Kidd, is white, especially female authors, writing about Black historical events. And I'm not sure if they do their due diligence and they do their research, if that is okay. But for me personally, I usually prioritize Black voices when they're talking about Black history. So I'm unsure about this one. Let me know your thoughts down below about that kind of situation. Next up is The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. So this is about a young girl named Acacia who spent her childhood in foster care, and she has trouble kind of expressing her emotions to people. And when she learns that in Victorian England, flowers had a lot of significance and expressed emotions, she decides to use the language of flowers to communicate. I think it sounds very intriguing, and something that you should know about my aunt is that she is a master gardener. So I think that this will be really interesting because she has a lot of flower knowledge, as well as I just really like flowers as a theme. And next up we have another traveling library one. So this is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes, and I guess this was one of Reese Witherspoon's book club picks. So it says, Alice marries handsome American Bennett, hoping to escape her stifling life in England. But small-town Kentucky quickly proves equally claustrophobic, especially living right next to her overbearing father-in-law. So when a call goes out for a team of women to deliver books as part of Eleanor Roosevelt's new traveling library, Alice signs on enthusiastically. Set in Depression-era America, this is a breathtaking story of 5 extraordinary women and their remarkable journey through the mountains of Kentucky and beyond. Damn. So it seems, honestly, like these two go hand in hand. Traveling libraries, small towns. And they're both about the Kentucky Traveling Library Project by Roosevelt. So that sounds really excellent. Can't wait to read them. The second to last book my aunt got me is Faithful by Alice Hoffman. It is a book of loss and rebirth, and I mean, it doesn't sound exactly up my alley, but I'm willing to give it a go if I'm buddy reading it. And the last book my aunt got for me is Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. I have already read this book. I didn't really like it that much, which is a complete shame. So I will be giving this to a friend of mine who wants to read it. And instead we are going to buddy read the Jesmyn Ward that I do have, which is Salvage the Bones, because I do love Jesmyn Ward's writing style. It's just that I didn't really like the magical realism elements in here that much. So thank you very much to my Aunt Pat and Uncle Hank for all the lovely books, and I cannot wait to buddy read them in 2021. So we have 2 things left. One is a book my Aunt Christine lent to me. She said I absolutely must read it. This is The Blood of Flowers by Anita Amirrezvani. So it says, a village girl's dreams of marriage end on the death of her father. Cast on the mercy of relatives in fabled Isfahan, she and her mother are reduced to servitude until she reveals a talent for designing carpets, an invaluable skill in 17th century Iran. Hope is short-lived, for a disastrous, headstrong act results in her disgrace. Caught between forces she can barely comprehend, she faces a life lived at the whim of others, unless she is prepared to risk everything and choose a future based on her own strength and will. So this sounds so good. It's set in Iran, and I've never read a book about a carpet maker, and my aunt really highly recommended it, so I will be absolutely reading this in 2021. And the last thing I want to mention is that my friend Stacey was getting rid of the entire series of The Unfortunate Events because she had been gifted a brand new set. So I said, well, if you're going to unhaul them anyway, I will take them off your hands. So she actually gifted me the entire set, but I'm not going to get them and hold them up. They're kind of packed away. But yeah, so for anyone who has read these or loved them, you know that Lemony Snicket is very clever, and these books were just fascinating to me when I was younger. I definitely wanted them in my collection. They're dark and weird, a bit grim, and they have children that are smartasses, kind of like Artemis Fowl, but in a more like creepy atmosphere. I just really loved them, and I'm so thankful that she gave them to me. So that finishes up my birthday / Christmas book haul. Those are all the books that I was gifted from other people, and yeah, I'm just really excited. And I'm not excited to move them because we're moving ourselves. So everything has to be carried by myself or my husband. So, you know, books are really freaking heavy. But I am so glad to have them. I cannot wait to read them very, very soon. Let me know what books you hauled recently or which of these you are interested in reading. If you have read any of the ones, especially that my aunt sent me, please let me know your thoughts on them, especially like the traveling library one sounds so interesting. But anyway, I'm going to say bye for now. We have to get back to packing and cleaning, you know, all that fun. And I will chat to you in another video soon. Lots of love. See ya!